One of my viewers very kindly sent me a link to an article on GB News. It was Patrick Christie launching a campaign to stop the government killing cash. It's called Don't Kill Cash. And I think the idea behind it is to get enough people to petition the government to say they want in legislation some guarantee that cash is not going to be outlawed or taken away from the table, that we go completely to a digital currency. We know that the CBDCs is likely to be pushed in under the pretense of, well, the fact that the banks are all collapsing and the only way that they can save the day is to use some form of digital currency such as that. The digital pound, I think they've referred to it euphemistically. Of course, it is, of course, a system in which you can be monitored. It's a money that is programmed, as we have known. Now, of course, that isn't the only way to get out of such a financial situation. And you may remember I was talking only the other day to Justin Walker and Daniel Thompson Mills about other forms of money, one of which being the Bradbury pound that nobody seems to in government want to refer to or talk about, because actually it is a credit-based system and not a debt-based system, and we could switch to it very easily. It's been done before, we could do it again. But it seems that if you write to your MP and say, excuse me, what about the Bradbury pound? Can we not go to this system? You'll get pretty much silence. So GB News are launching this campaign, and I'll leave a link in the description. You can go and find out as much as you can about it and maybe take part in the petition. But my worry is that petitions don't really do very much. They might sort of get, hopefully, a bit of a debate going, and maybe the government will sort of make weasel words. We know what they say when it comes to things like immigration and stopping those people coming in on the rubber boats. They say, of course we're going to do something about it, don't you worry. And years go past and still they've done nothing. They tinker around the edges, but nothing really gets done. In the meanwhile, many more people come into the country and we have to pay for them out of our taxes. Quite why we're paying our taxes to do this, I don't really know, but there you are. Anyway, I think it is important that we save cash because, as you know, cash is private. If you have a private transaction with somebody, you want to buy somebody's car or a bag of potatoes, nobody else need know and nobody needs to get involved in that transaction. As soon as we go to the central bank digital currency, in which when you make that transaction it happens live, in other words with the central bank know at the time of purchase that it's happening, and they can then make a decision through their algorithms and their social credit systems and their the net zero carbon credit system, whether you'll be allowed to use your money or fill up your vehicle with petrol or take another trip on an aeroplane. At the moment, although we do have a central bank and you use your debit or your credit card, the transaction may go through, but the central bank doesn't know about it till the end of the day, by which time you've bought the goods and it's too late to prevent you from doing things. The central bank digital currency, if I can get the words in the correct order, is somewhat more nefarious because it's at the moment of purchase, and that is when it can be stopped. But anyway, as Patrick Christie says in his piece on GB News, cash is a much more convenient for so many people. Not everybody wants to have a digital wallet. Not everybody wants to carry their mobile phone around, especially with the electric magnetic fields and the dangers that that can cause. Many people just want to be able to have a private transaction. Now, one of the beefs, and I mentioned this only the other day, and I will repeat it because I think it is incredibly important that we address this. For if you have a bank account, if you're paid by some form of bank transfer from your employer, it goes into the bank. It doesn't go straight to you. It goes to your bank account. But if you want to get that out in cash, you have to go through the whole rigmarole of talking to the bank about what you're going to do with the money. Now, it's your money. I would like to see a scheme in which the employers have to pay you in cash. if you want it. Only if you want it, mind. You may not want it, may not be convenient. Or what do? Because if the terms and conditions of the bank is that they own the money, that effectively when you put the money in the bank, or more weirdly, when your employer pays you, but it goes into the bank, that the bank then are taking it as a gift, and they will have an arrangement to let you have your money back if they so choose, which does seem to be the situation at the moment. It seems grossly unfair. So the answer to that is either the employers pay you cash, or we change the terms and conditions that the banks have so that when you put money in the bank, it isn't theirs. It's not a gift. It is in fact your money. And if that can't happen, then clearly we need to have more smaller banks. Banks that understand that when you put the money in, the service they provide is looking after your cash, not having a terms and conditions that says you've given it to them to do whatever they damn well like with it, and that they'll have some arrangement that they can, should they choose, to give it to you back. Because what happens if you, like Nigel Farage and many others, cannot have if they decide they're going to close your bank account and they say, well, I'm sorry, you've got 7 days to withdraw your money, and if you can't find anywhere else to put it, we'll close the account. I'm sure that Nigel Farage didn't say, well, I'll have it all back in £10 notes then, please, because I dare say they won't do that. They probably have terms and conditions and not obliged to pay you in cash. And if you've got nowhere else to put it and no one else will give you a bank account, then you're in problem. And then if they close the bank account, presumably they've kept your money, which is theft. So I think we should support the GB News thing, absolutely true. But at the same time, do petitions really work? And will the government just simply say down the line, well, we tried that, didn't really work, we're going to implement it again? And that is the problem. We need to save cash for the future forever. They should never get rid of a currency of some description, like money, that is not available in the private. And if they do, then we need another monetary system, which is what I know a number of people are working on, and that will be great to see. And I will have more guests who will be talking about this, different ways that we can use money, different types of money that we can use outside their system, which I have to say I'm all for. So there you go. I'll leave the links in the description. Now, before I go, I just want to say that I have got a few events coming up in which you can meet me and you can talk to me as I give a talk to the group. One is this weekend as I record this in Southampton. Do check out the website. And one is actually this evening at the Rally Hall in Hove. There are some other events and they'll be going up on the website, richardvobes.com, so you can check them out if you want to come along and actually say hello to me or listen to any of the nonsense that I've got to talk about. So there'll be more of those coming up. I seem to be getting them quite a few times, which is very nice, touring the country a little bit. So there may be some holes in the amount of videos that I produce at the same time as I manage to get out and about. But anyway, do support the GB News Don't Let the Government Kill Cash campaign, absolutely. But let's also think about other ways that we can save cash. And of course, keep using cash. And where you can't, don't use those services.